In November of 2016, the UFC made its long-awaited debut in New York City. The historic show at Madison Square Garden set the stage for future events.
I'm waking up, looking at the picture.
And the promotion's return to the Mecca sets the bar even higher. UFC 217 on November 4th will feature the return of the greatest welterweight champion of all time, as Georges St-Pierre moves up a weight class to challenge middleweight title holder Michael Bisping.
Michael Bisping, middleweight champion of the world.
This is big. I don't think it gets much bigger, but I will break him, mark my words.
Thank you, George. Thank you for giving me an easy payday.
A lot of things has changed from my last fight.
I've got that
He's a machine. He's got the most scientific training known to man.
I have a lot more tools, a lot more skills, a lot more knowledge. It's going to be a new Georges St-Pierre.
And God bless him. God bless him, because he's fallen into the trap thinking that he can beat me.
Don't stop touching.
Cody Garbrandt is a real animal.
Plus, unbeaten champion Cody "No Love" Garbrandt.
No one has ever been able to do this to Dominic Cruz.
Faces ex-teammate and former champion TJ Dillashaw in a grudge match for the bantamweight title.
TJ's a piece of as a teammate, as a person.
TJ Dillashaw, come try me.
It's not surprising how much of a punk he wants to act like now after he won the belt. I'm the best in the world, and I'm going to go out there and prove it.
And another undefeated champ seeks to build on her strawweight dominance.
All she wants to be is champion.
When Joanna Jędrzejczyk welcomes dynamic challenger Thug Rose Namajunas.
Rose not gonna handle the power of my punches and kicks. I'm the strawweight queen for a reason.
Joanna, I'm coming for you. Be careful. I'm here to take that title from her.
As champions and contenders prepare for the biggest event of the year. First, get ready for UFC 217. Countdown. Montreal has always been home to Canada's greatest MMA fighter, who is also ubiquitously regarded as the greatest welterweight champion of all time. As Georges St-Pierre's 4-year absence from the sport comes to an end, he prepares within the confines of his new private training facility. A long journey to the top brought him such luxuries. One that began as a young teenager. When he first laid eyes on the sport, he would soon conquer.
I was already a black belt in karate, and I saw Royce Gracie. He won the tournament against guys that were much bigger than him.
Here's the tap. There's the tap.
It made me remember my past when I was bullied in school. So it was very motivating for me to see a small guy beat up a bigger guy. I became interested in training in jiu-jitsu and becoming a mixed martial art fighter.
This man is a wrestling and Brazilian jiu-jitsu fighting expert. Fighting out of Montreal, Quebec, Canada, please welcome Georges St-Pierre!
GSP's UFC debut at 22 years of age.
What a great debut! Congratulations, Georges St-Pierre!
Marked the beginning of one of the greatest campaigns in MMA history.
That is, without a doubt, the top contender at 170 pounds.
He took the UFC by storm.
Tonight, the future has become the present.
And twice captured the undisputed welterweight title.
He's getting better. That's the scary thing. Not only is he one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world and the dominant welterweight champion, he improves every time we see him.
He dominated contenders.
In a lot of ways, he is the perfect fighting machine.
But began to realize that capturing the belt was much easier than constantly defending it.
Every time I was fighting a guy and I was beating him, I knew right away was another guy in line waiting for me.
We're reminded once again how good a striker St-Pierre is.
Everybody's dissecting all the little piece of the puzzle on you.
It is going to be so hard for anyone in this division to stop this.
They've been studying you much longer than you have been studying them.
With each title defense, pressure and expectations escalated, and GSP began to show signs of being human.
Sometimes your mind is not there. If your mind is not there, you can't perform as well.
Carlos all over him, but George again utilized his wrestling, turned the tide. It wasn't the destructive finish that George would like.
Although he defended the belt 9 times in a row, the margin of victory became smaller with each outing, and St-Pierre decided to step away from the sport as champion.
I have a bunch of stuff in my life happening. I need to hang up my glove for a little bit.
Are you retiring right now? Is that what you're saying?
I have to go away for a little bit at least.
Yes! Ça va bien? Ah ouais, super. J'ai tout rasé au complet, tout.
The 170-pound great spent years on the sideline, never indicating whether he would eventually return to the octagon or if he was officially done competing.
I didn't say it was retirement. I said I was going to step away. I'm very happy. I have a beautiful life, but I'm hungry for more mixed martial arts success. I believe strongly that people haven't seen the best out of me yet. I'm gonna hurt him real bad. Make him quit. I'm taking a big risk going back, but the risk is worth it because I'm fighting Michael Bisping for the middleweight title. Muchas gracias. Hasta luego. À la prochaine. Merci les gars, merci encore.
I'm not gonna be the old GSP. I'm a better version than I was when I used to compete, and I'm gonna prove it to everyone. I'm gonna do the biggest fight as possible, and I wanna make history.
No one gives a George. George, listen, while you were away, I was man enough to still be fighting those guys. The sport is a different place. Game over.
Georges St-Pierre's return to the octagon will come against the winningest fighter the UFC has ever seen. Reigning middleweight champion Michael Bisping has done it all. He won the Ultimate Fighter as an undefeated light heavyweight before making his 185-pound debut the same night St-Pierre captured the welterweight title for the second time.
Just teeing away is Michael Bisping. Down he goes!
While GSP ruled at 170, the brash Brit fought a long line of emerging middleweights.
King took a knee.
Tang's in trouble. That's it. All over. Tremendous performance from Michael Bisping.
Bisping with a kick that rocked him. Michael Bisping. Again with a right hand that lands.
Nobody stepped into that octagon more times than me, and nobody's won more times than me.
Bisping's going off on him.
I've done it the hardest way possible.
Bisping often faced top-ranked contenders.
And up again. Wow. Bam.
If he didn't get his hand raised, he would bounce right back.
That's the Michael Bisping we have known since 2006.
Oh, nice right hand by Bisping.
And it all paid off in 2016.
Line him up. I'll take him out. That's a fact.
Which began with a main event bout in London against the greatest middleweight champion of all time.
It is now or never for the perennial contender.
Oh, and again with the left hook. Anderson goes down for a second. Good uppercut from Michael Bisping.
I beat Anderson Silva.
Michael Bisping is not giving Anderson Silva an inch here.
What Michael Bisping has done is just keep on trucking.
And then I took a fight on 2 weeks' notice.
Michael Bisping will now challenge for the UFC Middleweight Championship of the world.
Get up!
Knocking out Luke Rockhold. That was amazing.
Oh, he heard him. He heard him bad. He heard him bad.
And again!
Probably the high point of my career.
Michael Bisping is the new UFC Middleweight Champion of the world!
But I say probably because it may have been surpassed by my next fight, defending the belt in Manchester.
The first British UFC champion looking to defend here in his hometown.
Yeah.
Bisping's first order of business as champion was to avenge his loss to rival Dan Henderson.
A rematch over 7 years in the making.
On home soil in the UK, where he's never been defeated.
Oh my! The right hand again!
Both of these men have an incredible ability to recover. Mike's starting to find his rhythm.
Over the top. Nicely done. That rocked him. Again, Henderson backing up. Still! The undisputed UFC middleweight champion of the world!
I've worked my ass off. I've been dedicated. I've beaten everybody. and I'm the champion of the world. I'm one of the greatest mixed martial artists that ever lived. It's as simple as that.
After years of trials and tribulations with numerous high-profile contests around the world, Michael Bisping shares his well-deserved place among MMA royalty and thrives under the pressure that comes with being a defending champion in the UFC.
George retired when he did because he couldn't take the pace anymore. He couldn't take the pressure. Simple as that. You know, it's tough at the top. You can't start feeling sorry for yourself because you've got pressure because you're the champion. You're in the position that everybody wants to be in. So him saying that he retired because there was too much pressure just shows what a little bitch he is.
Next up, at UFC 217 on November 4th, Bisping aims to add a victory over all-time great Georges St-Pierre.
He has all of the attributes that you would want in your champion.
To his already impressive resume.
The worst possible matchup for him is me. Not only have I won the most fights, I've landed the most significant strikes as well. I'm a very, very busy, active striker, and I'm going to tee off on his head. From the moment the referee says fight, I will be punching him, kicking him, kneeing him, elbowing him.
Relentless once again.
If he wants to step up and try it on, be my guest.
George, come get it. George, come get my belt. Be a man. Take my belt.
TriStar in Montreal has long been the premier training destination for Canada's top fighters. The gym was made famous by former welterweight champion Georges St-Pierre, whose long reign was directed by head coach Firas Zahabi.
Try to turn your head where you're gonna fall. Nice.
And the legendary duo welcomes a unique opportunity to prepare together again, this time for the highly anticipated return at UFC 217.
A lot of people, they come up to me and they tell me, don't let George fight again. Don't let George get in the octagon again. He had such a perfect career. Let it end this way. And I always tell myself, you know, why?
So if I'm here, I get the position, you see my shoulder is pinned against his thoracic. I got an edge. That's gonna give me the edge.
He loves martial arts. He loves the thrill of competition. It's such a great adventure.
I can take the leg, I step behind, and I'm pulling his leg.
You know, the preparation, the fight night. Why deprive him of that experience?
But battling for years against the very best grew tiresome for GSP, and his thirst for competition needed to be rediscovered as he continued training while away.
George had the world record for most hours spent in the octagon. After you spend 5 hours of competition time in the octagon, that means you've spent thousands of hours preparing. It's a grueling aspect of his physical training, prepping for a fight.
4 years was off. I was training for fun and I was happy. That's when you can improve the most. I had a lot of new weapons that people haven't seen yet.
With a newfound love for fight camp, St-Pierre enters his bout on November 4th in another less familiar position, the challenger to a UFC title.
This fight with Michael Bisping will be a joy, because I'm not the champion now.
It's always the challenger that's more hungry than the champion. George is gonna go out there and he's gonna have that hunger of a challenger and he's gonna take that belt.
Middleweight champion Michael Bisping shares GSP's wealth of experience preparing for big fights. The Brit's time spent inside the UFC's octagon is matched only by the time spent in the one here, at the Ruka Training Center in Costa Mesa, California. If there is anything that the veteran fighter has learned during his career, is that practice makes perfect.
There's two things that people don't like to do. They don't like to run and they don't like to spar. It's a necessary evil. You want to get better at tennis, play tennis. You want to get better at football, play football. You want to get ready for an MMA fight, you got to spar. And I like to spar.
Bisping's enthusiasm for fight simulation is one that often needs to be reeled in.
That's nice, Mike.
Which has become the area of expertise for head coach Jason Perillo.
See if you can stay on the right side a little bit more. Hey, it's so relaxed with it all, Mike. So good.
Jason understands me as a fighter, and that's what you need.
You're so good at going to body here. See if we can, boom, sneak it up the lane. Yeah. You got such control of your shots now.
Jason controls my emotions and just develop my mental game, you know, and that's partly why I'm world champion today.
So easy for you. Yes, Mikey. That's good read. Nice, Mike. I like the way you're staying on him like that. You make him do whatever you want him to do right now.
As Bisping enters the biggest fight of the year on November 4th, Perillo's mental guidance keeps the pair focused on performing their best at UFC 217.
It doesn't matter who the opponent is. Now, I've made the mistake in the past where I'm thinking about how they're gonna win, so I alter my game, fighting to not lose. I'm fighting to win. I've got to go out there and I've got to beat Georges St-Pierre. Whatever he brings to the table, I'll be ready.
In preparation for another historic night in New York City, UFC 217's headliners pay a visit to the Big Apple as part of the month-long media tour that will promote the event.
34 floor.
How great is life for you now, though? I mean, you're the middleweight champion and you're fighting in one of the biggest fights of the year.
GSP is back. Why now?
I would not have come back if I wouldn't think I'm a better version than what I was when I left off. I wanted to attempt something I've never done before. I never had an opportunity to do before. I wanted my comeback fight to be something epic, something special.
Georges St-Pierre aims to become just the 4th fighter in UFC history to capture belts in multiple weight classes. Adding that chapter to his legacy means conquering middleweight champion Michael Bisping.
George wanted this fight really badly, and God bless him. He's fallen into the trap of thinking that he can beat me. A lot of people do that. They watch me on TV, this guy isn't that good. It's a very different thing when you're in there. So thank you, George. Thank you for giving me an easy payday.
I'm not sure if he's driven by the same thing that I am. If you would have made me a choice between 100 million and lose a fight, get knocked out, or winning a fight and make 0, I would choose to win the fight. I'm not sure if he would make the same choice.
Go. Bigger.
For George to say that, he's out of his mind.
Rip it, come on, rip it.
I pride myself on being a fighter. That's what I do best in this world.
There and back. What's the goal?
My short-term goal is to become the UFC champion again.
I definitely need to stop him. He doesn't go the distance.
Wow. And long-term?
Make it in a way that I'm the best fighter, pound for pound, of all time.
He is a true martial artist in every sense of the word.
He is the perfect fighting machine.
He's got the most win in UFC history, and I'm gonna beat him. This is good for my legacy, for my pride, for my honor.
There's no quitting him. There's no giving up. There's never been any strain in his belief in himself.
We can all dream, but dreams